I'm curious if there's other things about Bitcoin that were these kind of like aha moments or that really solidified your belief in it. If they are, tell us what that is. And then if you have any examples to help people really kind of synthesize it or visualize it so that it makes more sense. Because here we are talking about the halving, but without a real world example for people to kind of visualize it and see it, sometimes it's difficult.
Yeah, I love that gold example because that's how I linked it in my brain as well. And I always tell people, actually, one of my best Twitter posts in my highlights is about what they call the all in sustaining cost in the gold marketplace.
Hmm.
And this is the cost that it takes a miner to rip the gold from the ground and sell it into the marketplace. And we know the natural laws of economics and price discovery work with that free market price signal where profit is the invisible hand that drives the market. So the cost of production is really the beginning of the margin, because if the price goes below the cost, there's no profit to be made. So there's no incentive to expand supply. And that dynamic then allows you to start to understand, okay, hey, when I go into the grocery store, I'm not making a bid on what I want to pay for the item. The producer is responsible for setting the price point. And when he's looking at his balance sheet, he needs to understand that all in sustaining cost so that he can ask for a price above the cost, because that's why he's in business, to make a profit. And what's amazing is if you become too greedy, then the competition within the rest of the marketplace is going to undercut your price. So it's like a natural mechanism to balance the marketplace. And Bitcoin takes that mechanism and leverages it to drive value into the network itself. So I always say, gold has an all in sustaining cost. And as they devalue the dollars, the cost of production is going to continue to rise because the labor, the land, the materials are going to rise as the dollars are diluted, which means that cost needs to be passed on to the consumer. So if you want to access the value proposition of gold, you have to pay a price above the cost. Well,
Yeah.
it's the same thing for Bitcoin. If you want to access the value proposition of Bitcoin, which in today's world of lies, a truth ledger happens to be probably one of the best value propositions that exists, then you're going to need to pay a price above the cost. The magic happens that Bitcoin is the only commodity in the world, because of its strategic engineering, that it can actually raise its own cost of production. Imagine if gold, I mean, we talked about how the halving could double the price of your equipment. Imagine if gold just decided, you know what, I'm going to make myself harder to find today. Like it's alive, it's breathing, and it's a mechanism built into the money itself, which is why I like to refer to Bitcoin as engineered money. And perhaps in my opinion, probably the first form of true money because of absolute digital scarcity.